Kunta, but I'm sure that there are still a lot of people out there who are still confused as to the application of the exemption to the curfew announced by the government yesterday.
Yes, there must be some confusion. So shall we take a look at for the exemption of the curfew, because for people who are preparing for tonight, they may be confused what they have to do after 10 o'clock tonight when curfew is in place. So for exemption, medical and banking personnel, people who need medical attention, personnel transporting essential goods and medical equipment, pharmaceutical products, agricultural produce, fuel, newspaper and mail packages. Kun Thepchai.
Yes, so these are among the people and professions which and who are exempted from the curfew, including people working for late shifts and people on their way to and from airports. But Kun Visnu Krengam, the Deputy Prime Minister in charge of legal affairs, tried to clarify the exemptions today. Of course, I think he understood that there are a lot of questions out there as to what these how these exemptions will apply, because he noted that for these people to be qualified for exemption, they need to have to carry with them personal identification cards, right? And including certifying documents from their employees, for their employers, which is something that has raised question, because it's still not quite clear as to what kind of documents that could be considered to be certifying documents that would exempt these people from the curfew. So I think there will be a lot of confusion out there tonight when people are stopped at checkpoints and asked to produce documents that are needed to exempt them from the curfew.
That's right. And for reporters or members of media community who have to work late night shift tonight, for example, at the ThaiPBS, we have collected a list of number of people who has to go home after 10 o'clock, after midnight, like myself, who will have to do Tini ThaiPBS program tonight. We have got certificate of letter from the ThaiPBS already, so we have to show it, and with our ID as well, to make sure that the police officer know what we have been doing.
When reporters asked Kun Visnu today whether journalists are exempted from the curfew, he said no, journalists are not supposed to be out on the streets doing news stories at that time of the night. So it's still not very clear as to how Kun Natha and your colleagues will be treated tonight when you are stopped at checkpoints.
Yes, so we have to get ourselves ready just in case we have been called to stop. So we have to show evidence what we have.
And of course today's journalists are quite curious of about the hours of the curfew. Of course the question is why between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., which are not the normal hours for most people anyways. So the explanation from Kun Visnu was that the government want to be seen as being tough with implementing measures to deal with the virus. And on the other hand, the government also doesn't want to have this to have too much impact on the daily life of the people. That's why it initially chose the hours between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. for the curfew, to ensure that there won't be many people out there on the streets during those hours, and that the curfew would have minimum impact on the livelihood of the people.
That's right. And right now, a group of reporters from ThaiPBS have been stationed in many spots around Bangkok, in many locations around the country, to try to monitor what will be coming out tonight after curfew at 10 o'clock.
And Kun Visnu said today that the government will be assessing the consequence or the impact of the curfew on a daily basis. And he hinted that if the situation doesn't improve, that means if the number of infections do not drop, doesn't come down, then the government might have to increase the number of hours for the curfew. Today is 6 hours, right? But Kun Visnu said it could go up to 8 hours, 10 hours or even more than that. And today, the spokeswoman of the government house also hinted at the possibility of a 24-hour curfew if things really get that bad, and the government really need to do something more drastic than it is doing already.
That's right. Government spokeswoman said, actually, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha doesn't want to adopt that bitter pill to that level of 24 hours of curfew. But if it's necessary, he perhaps might have to make a decision to do so. So we are not far from the situation of 24-hour curfew. So it would be dependent on what will happen this weekend, I guess, after the curfew has been in place from 10 p.m. tonight.
And Dr. Visanu today jokingly said that curfew doesn't have holidays and doesn't know the hour of the days or night. So, and it is not selective in striking at the victim. So anyone can get infected at any time of the day or night. So that's why he was suggesting that if things don't improve, so the number of hours of the curfew could be increased. I mean, to ensure that the government is in full control of the movement of the people.
Yes, because virus is working around the clock 24 hours a day, and it doesn't know boundary at all for the coronavirus.